right to your right, the ladies would also be able to hear your voice.
So should I repeat the apology here or do accept it?
Very interesting. No, leave it. No,
So my apology accepted, Hazur.
Okay.
Right. I'm so sorry for that. For any other criticism, nothing bothers me much so long Hazur is pleased with me, my questions and discussion during the Majlis-e-Irfan.
Yes, I'm very much pleased, I assure you that.
Jazakallah.
And I've tried to assure you so many times, but I don't know how can I really assure you, because every time
Jazakallah.
I find
Now,
myself in doubt about it.
Hazur, my suggestion starts now. Hazur, my suggestion is regarding Islamabad, UK, and that is, while we are designing the area, this should be designed on the pattern of Rabwa, Pakistan, although with modifications according to suitability of the requirements of the planning.
All right, that suggestion is rejected. Now shift to the question, please. That suggestion is summarily rejected. So instead of going on with the suggestion, you better shift to your question.
Jazakallah.
All right?
Jazakallah. I will not carry on. Could I send in writing to Hazur over there, or just don't mention that?
Make an appeal to Allah against me.
Exactly.
When it is rejected, it is rejected.
So Hazur is not displeased that I put the
Beg your
suggestion.
pardon?
Hazur is not displeased that I have
Not
mentioned.
at all, not at all. I am pleased to reject it though.
Exactly. Exactly. Would Hazur kindly explain the definition of a Sahabi? Secondly, those companions of the promised Messiah who had not attained maturity during his lifetime, can they be called Sahaba? What is the age of maturity according to Islam?
That's one question. Isn't it? Okay. The definition of Sahaba is a question on which Muslim scholars differ. That is, according to some, a Sahabi, starting from the widest definition, I'll explain various definitions. I'll relate various definitions as put forward by various Muslim scholars, and also the same sort of debate is going on among Ahmadis. Some people say that if a prophet has cast his eyes even on the newborn infant, he becomes a Sahabi. According to their definition, Sahabi is the one who was in company of someone. So that is not necessary that that person who is in company is conscious of the fact, or he is mature or immature, that these factors are irrelevant. You get the physical proximity to someone and you become Sahabi. This is the widest definition. And also they support this with this idea, with the assertion that the Prophet's looks are not like ordinary looks. If they have cast their look upon someone, that person, that recipient of their look, their attention, is definitely blessed. He draws some benefit out of it. So you do not have to be a conscious person to draw that benefit. Even if a prophet casts his eyes upon someone, he becomes blessed. I mean, that is their definition. The other people say no, because a prophet casts his eyes upon kafirs, upon infidels, idolaters, and so many other people. So they don't become Sahaba. So there is more to it. Something else should be added to that definition to define a people who are really and truly capable of being called the companion of the Prophet. According to them, companionship is a two-way weapon. It is not only the person who is giving blessing. If somebody is incapable of receiving blessing and he is called a companion, then the blesser would be misjudged by the posterity. And so we should be very careful as to declare someone being a companion of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for that, then they started differing with each other as to which age should be declared the fit age for being called a companion. So some people say that if anyone in his not maturity but in his childhood has heard something from Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and has remembered that thing, and later on after his death he remained a Muslim and remained a pious person, such a person, however small his age be, at the time of meeting our Hazur sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would be called a companion. That was agreed upon by some. But they started differing about the age. Some said any child remembering anything. Some others said no. He should be of some age where he receives impressions. He learns things and discusses things. So just not one word, memory of one word is not enough. There should be more to it. So people started adding more restrictions to the definition of companionship. And some people thought that one has to be a mature person. A mere child cannot be called a companion. And those people who tend to believe that a higher age limit should be imposed upon a companion also infer from the Holy Quran and say that the companions of Hazur sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as described in the Holy Quran, as called Rizwanullah, and other properties and attributes are given about, other attributes are described in the Holy Quran, they are of such nature that we can safely infer that all those people mentioned are not children. They are mature people who are fighting the cause of Islam with Hazur sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who are participating in all the obligations and responsibilities and discharging their duties. So these are the people who are referred to as companions of the Holy Prophet, not mere children. So they further narrow the field and say no, maturity is a must, and in maturity, if you have received the benefit of Hazur sallallahu alaihi wasallam's companionship, you can be called a companion, not otherwise. But the truth lies in between. We know that some of Hazur sallallahu alaihi wasallam's companions who rose to great heights, scholarly heights and spiritual heights later on, were mere children in the lifetime of Hazur sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ibn Abbas, Ibn Masud was an old one. Ibn Abbas was a mere child in his lifetime. And he was blessed by him. He prayed for him that may Allah show reveal the secrets of the Holy Quran to you. May you become a commentator of the Holy Quran. And he is one of the greatest commentators of the Holy Quran. And he remembers so much about Hazur sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So intelligent children who are capable of receiving benefits, about whom a prophet has prayed and who we know lived over a period of years in close contact with that prophet. Why shouldn't he be called a companion?